Welcome to Sporking News Podcast. I'm Scott, and thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please hit share, like, all that stuff. Subscribe. YouTube doesn't help out smaller channels like myself like they used to. It's more for the corporates. The algorithm really doesn't affect channels anywhere under, a couple tens of thousands. So if you can help, it's grassroots. Please share, like, subscribe, have your family. I got to get to 1,000 at some point. Just hit 205. So thank you to everyone that subscribed and has been here from the beginning and just subscribed today. I really appreciate it. So this is going to be a review of Watchmen. I wrote down some notes this time. Okay. I wanted to give this show a chance. Last week I said it wasn't bad. I wish it wasn't even called Watchmen or in the Watchmen world. I wish it was like a different world devoid of Watchmen. I think I would have enjoyed it more. But I have to say I'm not a big fan. Okay, so the Watchmen thing seems like they're just throwing little one-liners in, little things that'll remind you of Watchmen. Even at the beginning of this one, the Judd, I think his name is, or the captain, his badge was on the ground where he was hanging. And she drives up, Angela, or Night Sister, and the old man, this is all spoilers too, people. I shouldn't have to say that, but I'll say it now. The old man's sitting under the tree, and a little thing of blood falls on the badge, like on the Watchmen happy face. Ooh, like the comedian. It's ridiculous, all right? They're just forcing in things that relate to the show, or excuse me, the comic books. But it's being forced. I don't like it. I don't think it's done well. Again, I think if this was done differently and it was a show standing on its own, I may have liked it better. But let's go over the little notes I have. So she drives up to the tree. The captain's hanging. She shows no emotion because she's a strong woman. And, the old man says he hung him up there. She's like, it was kind of funny part. He used telepathy. He's like, I need my pills. Well, that's a different part. But she's like, no, you didn't. You didn't do it. She gets back in her car, gets a little angry. All right, comes back. I guess she puts him in the car, drives away. Remember that. She drove up the hill and drove away. So she goes to her bakery. No one sees her wheeling an old man late at night, whatever. I would have thought by now, if anyone knew she was a cop in her previous life and all the cops now are masked, that someone would have staked out this bakery or her house or something and realized she's a freaking cop. Every time she goes in, Night Sister comes out. It makes no sense. Anyways, so she locks him up, starts asking him questions. He said, I did it. She's like, you're not strong enough. I'm 105. She thought he was like 90 something. But he's 105 years old. He's the little boy. Oh, I forgot the very beginning. They show, pamphlets falling down in Germany after a German commander has a woman write it in English. And it just pretty much says that the Americans hate black people and you should come fight for us and we'll treat you good. Yeah. We have our history. We all know it. It wasn't a good time in this history. It has still in spots isn't a good history. Even up to today, there's racism everywhere. We know this, but this is so heavy-handed. There's no nuance to it at all. It's just in your face, racist, white man bad, black people good. I don't know. It's just too much. I love watching stuff like this. I love watching the nuances, or even in the face, like, Time to Kill a Mockingbird, or whatever those movies were. They were fantastic. I feel like they're trying way too hard to make this about white and black, and having an African-American female as your protagonist is trying to walk the line. I don't know. So anyways, back to the car. She's in the bakery. So she handcuffs him. He drinks some coffee. She takes the coffee in a bag. Oh, I'm going to get your DNA. And she goes and changes. Spray paints her eyes, comes back in, and she's like, leaves him. So first of all, remember, she leaves that old man handcuffed there because she gets a text. Or, a beeper. I guess there's no cell phones. They talked about the batteries last week. Something to do with these either fake lithium batteries. I don't know. But it seems like they don't have cell phones. They all use landlines. Notice that. So she goes to the crime scene and people are there. And the mirror ball dude gets in her car after she goes out, looks at him, comes back in her car, takes her mask off in her car. I know they're behind the tape and there's not really paparazzi close at that moment, but telescope lens, like, why take off the mask? So he kind of gets in the car and interrogates her a little bit, and she's like, are you talking, are you interrogating me? He's like, well, should I be? And he's upset too. And all of a sudden, boom, on the top of her hood, one of the, oh, look, it's the comic book, Flappy Wings. Paparazzi trying to get pictures, and they kick the crap out of the dude, break his camera, this and that. Now, no one talks about, like car tracks. No one talks about, wheelchair tracks in the grass. Like, none of that's brought up. No one says anything. Like, where's your CSI team? Is there no CSI in this world? Like, in one scene, the kid has like an awesome metallic Lego floating thing, but they don't have CSI. I don't get it. So they decide, we're going to Nixon Town. Well, actually, he's like, we're going to Nixon. I can't do Russian. Forget it. I'm going to stop with the voices. I try. So we're going to Nixon Town. So Nixon Town is a bunch of, pretty much it's white trash racists. Like, let's be a little more heavy-handed with it. Anybody who likes Nixon, white trash, racist. So they go there and they, crack some skulls, and she doesn't want to do anything, but she kicks the living crap out of this dude, which she uses great technique. We don't know why. We don't know who trained her, but she's a lethal weapon. All right. And I might be doing this out of order. And they round them all up, and I guess they're going to interrogate them in their crappy interrogation room because they don't really have a police station. So at one point, she does have a flashback to the White Night, and we find out that 40 police officers at the strike of midnight Christmas Day were attacked, she being one of them. She kills the first intruder, throws her husband out of the way, save the little man. And then she kills the first dude. Another one shoots her point blank over her. She passes out, wakes up in the hospital. So either someone told them not to kill her, or maybe the chief still has something to do with it. I don't know. I'm still kind of confused about the captain, chief, whatever he is. Because I have some questions about that too. So someone had to tell him not to kill her because they never bring up how she survived that. So I don't understand that either. She wakes up in the hospital, and the captain at the time, so he's definitely captain then. I don't know if he becomes the chief. I always forget this crap because the show's not sucking me in. He tells her, about the 40 different cops. All these cops now are quitting, and she's like, I ain't going to give up. And he's like, well, then I won't give up either. Nice little scene. Back to where she was. So now she's going home, and the grandfather, who's the dude from in a wheelchair from Supernatural, Bobby. He plays Bobby in Supernatural. He's the white trash piece of crap grandfather that it's his day, but you could pay me off with a check. So she pays him off. And she goes inside, and again, the gender roles reverse. The husband's the housewife. I have nothing wrong with that either. Be a Mr. Mom. I think that's a great thing. I wish I could be, but I have to work. But it's like, he's more the emotional one. She has no emotions. Like, whatever happened to being a strong woman that's feminine, but also can kick ass? I don't understand why that can't happen anymore. It's either you take on male, a male archetype and just make that person a woman. I don't get that. Like, why can't there be femininity to show us, how a woman would do this? Even like, Black Widow, she uses her small stature to attack men. She zaps them. She doesn't straight up kick their ass. She uses technique. And I don't know. It seems like they're getting away from, they're taking like a male character and just making it a female instead of using what a female is and making that character strong. Does that make sense? Let me know. Comment below. So next scene, maybe. She goes upstairs and she's like, we deal in black and white to the little boy. I think it's a boy. Little boy that punched the kid in the last red for Rations. Thanks for whoever left that in my comics last time. Now I got what that meant. She tells him, I ain't going to candy coat this. This is what happened. And he's like, everybody dies. So he's been traumatized by this. But he had the coolest, like, floating metallic, like, Legos type thing. And he just smacks out of the way and just falls to pieces. Like, it's weird. Like, there's technology that's way above what we have. And then there's no technology that's like this technology this kid had should be flying cars. There isn't. They're driving, SUVs. It's very confusing. They just haven't. It's almost like they didn't decide to go all the way with certain things. They wanted to make it as close to possible as us, but be like, "Woo, look at this cool technology." I didn't like that. So at some point we jumped to Adrian Vient. I don't. You know. The master. We'll go with the master for now on. The master. Well, he's riding his horse again in this episode like last one. He comes up to a tomato tree. So maybe crossbred tomatoes and apples. And he crushes it all excited like. And then he's at another celebration. Now, is this a year later? Is this a flashback? Or is this he does every night where he has that cake every single night? And I think that's what it is. And, these people I thought at first were diehard, devotees, but I'm starting to realize now that we saw the play he was working on. It's a reenactment of how Dr. Manhattan becomes Dr. Manhattan. John, that they're all clones, and he actually sacrifices one to create Dr. Manhattan. I mean, he burns him up, and then replaces him, changing the name of another one to become his butler. So he's a whack job in this. He's not the Alexander the Great or the Conqueror that he wanted to be in the other ones. He's just a nutbag. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, this show is just trying so hard to fit characters that come from the Watchmen world, but aren't really the Watchmen characters. In the hospital room, I forgot this part. He said, I was in my house and a Rorschach came through the window or something like that. But Rorschach, we don't know of his journal. It doesn't seem like his journal got out there that Ozzy, the master did his plan from the comic books. So how do people know about him? And how did he know right away, oh, that's Rorschach. That's a Rorschach. I just don't, they don't give us enough to tell us the history. It's one of those J.J. Abrams type, give them just little bits and pieces like Lost and don't explain anything. But this isn't supposed to be seasons. It's one season. They don't give you enough at all. They can give you one line to explain stuff and they don't. And it's aggravating. It's not done well. Let's put it that way. There's other things that do it well. This is not done well. So they have the episode of the actual original Watchmen, and that was graphic and masculine, this and that. That was bothered me. I'm skipping over that. And then she finally comes back to that poor, the old man in the wheelchair. Luckily, he knew how to pick a lock because she left him there for 24 hours. An old man, he would have, messed himself. I don't get that. But anyways, turns out she took that cup to a reparations place where they do a computerized DNA to see if you get money. So she gave him that DNA swab, and it turned out, dun, 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 she's his granddaughter. But then because of that, she's going to arrest him. So she brings him outside, puts him in her car in a alien-looking ship, drops a humongous magnet, picks up the car, he smiles and takes off. So he must be some type of super spy or ancient, one of the original Watchmen. I don't know. This show is just not good. So I'm going to keep reviewing it if you want me to. I don't get that many views anyways, but I'll keep watching it because you guys have made some good comments about it. Tell me what you thought. Tell me if I missed anything. Comment down below. And remember, if they are calling you names, they have already lost the war. Stand strong.